Right now, today, there's a clock running on 5 separate checks that could land in a Canadian senior's bank account this July, and one of them is already ticking towards zero. Not next month, not sometime this year, July. And the worst part, nobody is going to call you to remind you. Not the government, not your bank, not your insurance company. They all just quietly let the date pass, and then they let you deal with the consequences. So if you're a senior in this country, or you're looking out for one, stay with me for the next several minutes, because I'm about to hand you the exact list in the exact order you need to act on it. Let's get into it. Why this list exists. Here's something nobody tells you about getting older in Canada. The system isn't designed to trip you up on purpose. It's just designed to assume you already know what you're doing. The municipality mails your property tax bill, but not a follow-up warning when the due date creeps close. Service Canada quietly recalculates your pension behind the scenes. Your insurance company renews your policy at a higher rate and just lets it draft from your account like nothing happened. Every single one of these systems is betting on the same thing, that you're busy, that you're tired, that this particular week you're just not paying attention. And when the date slides by, the cost shows up later, sometimes weeks later, sometimes not until autumn. So consider this your early warning system. 5 dates, 1 month. And in every case, a simple fix that keeps your money where it's supposed to be in your account, not someone else's. Before we go further, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. These deadlines don't come with a postcard. Nobody phones ahead. So let's make sure you don't need them to. The one that comes first and hits hardest. If there's only one thing you take from this entire video, let it be this one. If you receive the Guaranteed Income Supplement, the GIS, that monthly top-up layered on top of old age security for lower income seniors, your July payment could already be in jeopardy, and you might not even know it yet. Here's the mechanic nobody explains. The GIS doesn't run on a calendar year. It runs on a benefit year that starts in July and ends in June. And every July, your payment amount gets recalculated based on one single input, your tax return from the previous year. For payments starting this July, that means your 2025 return. Service Canada doesn't estimate. They don't guess. They pull your income directly from the CRA's system, which means if you haven't filed yet, there's nothing for them to pull. No data, no calculation, no payment. Your GIS doesn't get reduced. It stops outright. And it does not restart automatically. You have to act first, and then it resumes, backdated to cover the gap. If you haven't filed your 2025 return, maybe because your income felt too low to bother, understand this clearly. Filing isn't optional paperwork anymore. It's the single thing keeping that payment alive. File it now. And if you're not going to make it in time for a full return, there's a shortcut. Form ISP-3026, the Statement of Income. It lets you report your income directly to Service Canada so the payment doesn't get cut off while your return processes. The move here is simple. Got your slips ready? File your return the normal way. Once the CRA has it, Service Canada reads it automatically. Missing something or worried about timing? Call Service Canada directly, tell them you're a GIS recipient, and ask if you should submit that Statement of Income form to bridge the gap. Either path gets you to the same place, your income on file before the July cycle runs. And here's who this actually catches, because it's almost never who you'd expect. It's the widow whose husband always handled the taxes, navigating this alone for the first time. It's the senior who was told years ago, with income that low, there's no point filing, and simply stopped, never realizing that filing itself is what keeps the GIS alive. It's the person who's been sick or grieving or just overwhelmed, and the return slipped through the cracks. Every July, those are the people staring at their banking app wondering where the deposit went. The good news, it's recoverable. Once your income is on file, payments resume and get backdated. You don't lose the entitlement permanently, but think about what a gap actually means for someone living paycheck to paycheck. A July with no GIS, maybe August too, while everything processes. Rent's still due, groceries are still due, prescriptions don't wait. So one more time, because it matters more than anything else on this list. If you collect GIS and your 2025 return isn't filed, that phone call happens today, not next week. The bonus that filing also unlocks. Here's the part that should make filing feel less like a chore and more like a no-brainer. Starting July 3rd, the GST/HST credit, that quarterly tax-free payment for lower and modest income Canadians, is being absorbed into a new, larger benefit, the Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit. For people who qualify, that's a 25% increase over what the old credit paid out. Same tax-free structure, bigger number. But, and this is the catch, it's calculated entirely off your tax return. The exact same return that protects your GIS is the one that unlocks this larger payment. File, And on July 3rd, the deposit shows up. Don't file, and you're not just risking your GIS. You're walking away from a payment that just got 25% bigger. One action, 2 payments protected. That's why filing sits at the very top of this list. And let's kill the excuse that stops people from filing in the first place. My income's too low, it's not worth it. Flip that thinking completely. The lower your income, the more these payments matter to you. The GIS, the new groceries benefit, provincial top-ups, nearly all of them flow from that one return. Filing with little or no income isn't wasted effort. It's the key that unlocks money you're already entitled to. And if cost or hassle is what's stopping you, free community tax clinics exist specifically for this. Trained volunteers file returns for seniors with modest incomes at no charge. There's no excuse left standing. File for free if you need to, and let July pay you. The hard deadline with a penalty-attached property tax. This one's not flexible, and it comes with teeth. Most municipalities across the country collect property tax in installments throughout the year. And for a large number of cities, one of those installments lands in early to mid-July. Miss it even by a few days, even because the notice got buried under mail on the counter, and you're not just paying the original amount, you're paying a penalty on top. Then interest starts compounding on the overdue balance, month after month, until it's cleared. For someone on a fixed income, that's money disappearing for absolutely no reason. 2 things to do this week. First, find your property tax notice and confirm the exact due date for your July installment. It's printed right on it, specific to your city. Second, if there's any risk you'll forget, set up pre-authorized payments through your municipality so it comes out automatically every time on schedule. And if you genuinely can't cover it, call before the deadline, not after. Many municipalities run deferral programs for senior homeowners, but those programs help the person who reaches out ahead of time, not the person already sitting in penalty territory. Here's what most senior homeowners never realize. In a lot of places, you might not have to pay that bill the traditional way at all. Several provinces allow senior homeowners to legally defer property tax through a low-interest government program, meaning the money stays in your account now instead of going to City Hall. British Columbia runs one for homeowners 55 and up. Other provinces have their own versions. And separately, there are senior property tax grants. Ontario's Senior Homeowners Property Tax Grant, for example, returns up to $500 a year to lower-income senior homeowners, claimed right on the same tax return we keep coming back to. So before you simply pay the July installment as is, ask 2 questions. Does my province allow deferral? Is there a seniors grant that gives part of this back? The deadline is real, the penalty is real, but so is the help, and it only reaches the people who ask in time. Notice the pattern forming across these first 3. None of it requires being clever. It requires acting before a date. The seniors who keep their money aren't smarter than the ones who lose it. They just circled the date and made the call. Now the last 2 are different. These aren't deadlines. They're the ones that catch you through simple inattention. Money moving while you're looking the other way. The money quietly leaving your account. Summer is renewal season, whether you're paying attention or not. Home insurance, car insurance, subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. Pre-authorized debits for utilities and services. A huge volume of these renew or adjust over the summer months, and they almost never go down. Your insurer doesn't call to say, heads up, your premium just jumped 11%. They just send the new number and let it draft on the usual day. So before the end of June, pull up your last bank and credit card statement and go through every recurring charge line by line. Anything that renewed, anything that crept upward, anything you no longer actually use, that's your cue to call, challenge it, switch it, or cancel it outright. On insurance especially, one phone call asking, is this still your best rate for a senior, or should I be shopping around, can save you hundreds a year. Let's make this concrete, because review your statements sounds like homework until you see the actual numbers. Insurance companies count on what the industry quietly calls the loyalty penalty. The longer you stay without asking questions, the more they nudge your premium upward, betting you won't bother shopping around. Which means the senior who's been loyal to the same insurer for 15 years is often paying more than a brand new customer down the street. One phone call, is this still your best rate, or should I get quotes elsewhere? And the mere suggestion of leaving can knock real money off in minutes. Then there are the small, silent leaks. The streaming service nobody watches anymore. The subscription that renewed at full price without asking. The monthly bank fee on an account that almost certainly has a free seniors version you were never told existed. None of these are huge individually, but 3 or 4 of them quietly draining every month adds up to a real number over a year, a bill you're paying for nothing, gone the moment you make a few calls. The compounding cost. Nobody notices until it's big last one. The slow burn. If your 2025 tax return left you owing the CRA money and you haven't paid it, that balance isn't just sitting there politely. The CRA charges interest on overdue amounts compounded daily, and at the current rate, that's far steeper than anything a savings account anywhere in the country pays you. Every day it sits unpaid, it grows, and then it grows on top of the growth. This is the one people brush off because the number looks small in June. By autumn, it doesn't look small anymore. If you owe even a modest amount, pay it down now if you can. If you can't pay it in full, don't go quiet and hope it disappears. Call the CRA and set up a payment arrangement. A managed plan stops the snowball before it picks up speed. And here's something worth knowing. If you fell behind for a reason genuinely outside your control, serious illness, a death in the family, financial hardship, the CRA has taxpayer relief provisions that let you formally request a waiver on interest and penalties. It's not automatic. You have to apply and explain your situation. But it's real. And for someone who got knocked off track by something out of their hands, it can erase a real chunk of that compounding cost. So the order of operations is simple. Can you pay? Pay now. Can't pay at all? Call and arrange a plan so it stops growing. Fell behind because life knocked you sideways? Ask about relief. The one option you never choose is doing nothing, because nothing is the only path that guarantees the number keeps climbing. Bringing it together. I know what some of you are thinking right now. That's a lot. 5 different issues, 5 different deadlines coming from 4 completely different places that don't talk to each other. And you're right. That's exactly the problem. None of this arrives in one tidy envelope. The GIS deadline, the property tax date, the renewals quietly drafting, the CRA interest compounding, they all come from separate systems, none of which coordinate with each other and none of which are chasing you down to help. The entire structure runs on the assumption that you already know and that you'll handle it in time. So here's your checklist. Write it down. 1, most urgent of all, if you receive GIS and haven't filed your 2025 return, file today or submit the statement of income form before your July payment stops. 2, that same filing also unlocks the new 25% larger groceries and essentials benefit landing July 3rd. File no matter how small your income looks. 3, pull your property tax notice, confirm your July installment date, and either pay it or set up pre-authorized payments so a penalty never touches you. 4, go through every recurring charge on your last statement and kill or challenge anything that's quietly crept upward. 5, if you owe the CRA, pay it down or set up an arrangement today before daily compounding interest does any more damage. 5 moves. Most of them take a phone call or 20 minutes at your kitchen table. And every single one is the difference between keeping your money and watching it slip away on a date nobody bothered to circle. Here's the mindset to take with you, because the list itself will change next month, but this won't. Managing money on a fixed income isn't a test of how much you know. It's a test of whether you act before the window closes. The rules exist. The help is real. The deadlines are knowable in advance. The only variable is whether you make the call before the date passes or after. So be the one who makes the call. Open the letter instead of stacking it on the counter. File the return even when it feels pointless. The whole system is quietly betting you won't follow through, and proving it wrong, one date at a time, is the simplest power you have. If anything in this video just saved you a penalty, a stopped payment, or a quiet rate hike, send it to one senior you care about. Someone out there is about to get caught by number 1 without ever seeing it coming. Subscribe, because this is what this channel is for, finding the deadlines the system hopes you'll miss so you don't.